Hey guys, it's Kailee. I'm back with College Chaos. It's been a while. I'm super excited to be back on with a really cool episode and one of my favorite people ever. I have an incredible guest that's going to talk about something very neat that we all need help on, and it is time management. And I just want to say before I start off this really cool, fun episode, time management is hard as a college student. It makes or breaks you depending on how you go about it. I would love to introduce my guest, Penny, one of my very best friends. We grew up just doing cheerleading together and so many, cool things and all these memories. And so Penny, I would love if you want to introduce yourself to the audience and just talk about being a college student and just all the hard moments, the good moments, and how you get through it.
Okay, so hi, Kaylee. Thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Of course.
I'm Naya Penny. I go to Texas Tech University.
Welcome.
And I'm currently a nursing student. So I'm going to be, talking to you guys about what I experienced in the program and how time management is very important to get through. Because and so being organized and having everything put together is very important. So
I agree. I know we talked about prior to the show, Penny and I have many conversations, stressed out to the max, how time management works and what's the key to being successful in it. And I just remember specific conversations about you have to give up some nights, being able to go out, and you have to stay in and do your school, study for that next test, 8 a.m. We've all been there. And so, Penny, I just want to know, what does a morning routine look like for you? How do you get through that? And what is like the main thing where, if you were to take that out of your routine, you actually probably wouldn't have as good as time management as you do now?
So usually my day starts off with me set an alarm to wake up for my Zoom classes at 8 a.m. And, it can be difficult because there's some nights where I don't sleep until 4 a.m., which is not healthy. So I have to make it a priority for me to physically get up, go get something to eat, and, maybe a Powerade, maybe some breakfast, and then get ready to start my class, because it can get to a point where you're having unhealthy living ways of living, because
Absolutely.
you're just stressed out. You sleep. I had bags under my eyes and I just was not sleeping. So I had to really figure out a routine for me that would give me motivation to wake up. Because
motivation
going through it.
Yes.
So I wake up, I feed my little dog here.
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech. And that's how really how I would, get started to wake up. And, you have to find something to be happy about every single day. Even though life might seem hard and you want to give up, you have to find something that is going to make you smile and, make you want to do better.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you always make me laugh. So I'm already laughing into this episode. So it's one of the greatest friendships that Penny and I have. I definitely think about, friends matter in college. And so, yeah, little side note. I know for me, when COVID hit and we got that wake up call and we all had to figure out, okay, we're not all going to be in person anymore. It was last spring. I woke up every day around 8:15 and I told myself, okay, am I going to go home and am I going to sleep in, or am I going to make it a regular habit? Habit is definitely a key word out of this, to wake up that early and still go about my day. And so for me, how I would get my day started is I would wake up and I would try to not snooze in. I do a 5-minute warning before I'm going to get up, or pretty rare, but I can get up on the spot if I wanted to. And so typically 8:15, I'm up and I'm eating breakfast, having my good old apple cinnamon oatmeal. And then I'm doing just my quiet time and devotional and really just soaking into those quiet moments. And for me, I think it's super important to start off on just a good foot for the day and like, what are you going to do? And so after my devotional, I'm getting out of my PJs and I'm getting into, my clothes for the day and my hair and makeup. Even if you don't leave the house, I've learned it's so important to get up and it makes you productive if you're dressed. And I would sit at my computer just like this and I would get started and I would get on Zoom and take my classes with full makeup on and ready to go, like I'm about to go out to eat for dinner. And so
And I do the same thing.
Yes, and it really was all through the root of time management and thinking if I would have slept in and I would have been, not jumping on that Zoom because Zoom University is a little popular now.
Yeah.
And so if I would have just sat there, I would have, it would have been considered time management that wasn't working out for me. And so I think your morning routine is the key to starting off to how time management rolls as a college student. And even the night before, I'm going to get real with everyone. When you go out and you're, at the bars and you're at the house parties and you have to learn to balance. And I know for me, I had an 8 a.m. class freshman year. It was rough. I wanted that perfect attendance. I wanted to not miss my classes, and I knew I would have tests. And so I wouldn't be able to go out that night before because I had to be well rested and I had to be ready to take that test. And I think that's where the time management is a struggle. I mean, Penny, what do you think? Like that's where it takes off and kids, they go downhill from there and they realize, shoot, like I slept in, I'm hungover. What do I do about that?
So, and that's where like peer pressure can become a really bad thing because, all my classes are science classes. So, there's times, when, bar nights are on Thursday. So, I want to go out and party, but I know I got to be up, logged into my exam at 7:45 the next day. And even though it's hard and I want to go out so bad, I have to, not go out because at the same time, the bars will still be there. The clubs will still be there. But, my ability to stay in this program and to, have a high GPA won't be forever. So I need to make sure I'm doing whatever I need to do to take school seriously. We're not here to party. Like, yes, it's fun, but, we don't pay all this money to just mess around in school. And that's why I take it so seriously.
And I was telling my audience earlier in an episode is we pay $25,000 average per year for a college university. That's a lot. We could be doing a lot with that money. And, it's scary to think like you have to be able to time things out correctly. And so for you, my goodness, Penny came in as a junior in college. How'd you get there? Like, let the audience know, because how did you maintain, your GPA and like we were talking about that motivation, how did you keep that? Because that's impressive.
So to start with, my dad is very strict. And so he had me in college classes in 8th grade. People thought that the man was insane. And I still think he is a little bit.
Just a little.
He's still like really like, hate that. I'm like, all the other kids are out, at the football games, and I was a cheerleader too. And it, I had to leave games early to go home and, work on the 6 college classes he had me enrolled in, plus the 4 classes in regular high school. So I was doing a huge workload, and I feel like it helped me because I was at an early age, I already knew how to manage all the routine. And so when I got to college, it was kind of like a breeze. I'm like, it's still hard, but I knew how to manage things.
Yeah.
So even though it, might have been tough being that young, starting off with all these rigorous classes, it really has helped me, even, even though I only had, 4 classes the first semester of nursing school, it still was nothing compared to what my dad had me enrolled in
Yeah.
high school.
Yeah. And guys, like Penny just turned 20 and she's already in nursing school. And actually, I remember we were in the car on the way home and I was like, Penny, just pull over. I don't want to ride. Like, let's see like if you got in. And that moment of like excitement, like Penny was like crying and like, I don't know, Penny, if you remember, like that moment was just so overwhelming. But it came through all that hard work and that time management and being able to get yourself there. And so what would you tell people viewing today? I want to, get started early, but I don't know the next step to take. What was something that you were able to take that step and be able to get you to where you are today?
About for high school students going to college or college kids that are already here?
For high school students going into college, how would that look for them?
Okay, in all honesty, I don't think AP classes do you any justice. I think that if you're going to try to get ahead in life, you need to do, dual credit,
Yes.
enroll into college classes at, a community college. That is going to help you when you get to school. Doing these AP classes is not going to do anything for you because, sometimes you get the credit, sometimes you don't. But with the college classes, with the community college, enrolling in them, you're going to get credit. Even if you, get a C, you'll still get some type of credit compared to doing AP class and hoping that you get I think it's a 3 on the test to pass and get the credit. So that's my advice to high school kids coming into colleges. I would suggest y'all do dual credit classes instead.
Yeah, no, and I agree. Like, I took classes in high school, the dual credit, and first of all, don't always listen to your friends about school stuff because a lot of people told me, hey, dual credit is hard, don't do it. And I was like, oh shoot, I'm not gonna do it. So I actually missed out junior year and I could have got, I think, like 6 credits. And so finally I was like, I'm gonna do it senior year. And I did it and I actually like aced it. And now I'm able to have those credits in college before I even step foot on the university, wherever you go, because I went and took the time management, and I took those classes. And so I want to like reverse the question I just asked you. What advice would you give to someone in college with time management? Maybe 3 great things that, people would just die to know right now on the spot.
I feel like with time management, you got to know that it's okay to tell your friends no. And I know
that's a big
so
one.
hard when you hang out, have a little friend group and y'all hang out all the time and they're like, you always stay in and study, like you never come out with us. That's okay. They can go out. And
their grades can suffer.
Your grades can suffer. But like it's okay to tell your friends no. And if they don't want to be friends with you because you're trying to better yourself, they're not your friends. Because real friends are going to be like, you know what, you can come out on Saturday when you don't have any work. Don't come out on a Thursday on a school night. Like, I did go out on Thursdays, but that's because when the moment I got my work, I started working on it. A lot of people, like, well, I got 3 weeks to finish this project. And then they'll wait until, they just let it, keep going by. And then they got 2 days to get it turned in and haven't even started it yet. So when I get my assignments, I do it that day. So I have time to go out and have fun. And, it's stressful to get all those assignments done like the day that they're given to you. But I'd rather do that than procrastinate and, end up getting a bad grade on it.
Yeah. And to add to that, I remember actually very recently, I waited to do a project and I was stressing out that last week it was due. And so I'll never forget this guy that gave me advice freshman year. And I wasn't sure I wanted to take it because it was from a frat guy, no offense, but actually it was one of the best piece of advices that I received from someone. And the guy said, if you would work early and ahead, you will always be on time. Exactly. The moment that you try to do it on time, you're actually going to end up behind. So I remember when I would go and do my thing freshman year, hang out with people, my work was actually done even sometimes a month out because I was so ahead. And that's how I maintained a good GPA still to this day. And so I wanted to also let my audience know today that I just received, and I know Penny's going to be so proud, a 4.0 this full sophomore year. And it took some time management, and I struggled at the beginning of this semester, and just the like emotions of being in college and me, moving back to Lubbock, and I didn't know what to do, and I was losing my motivation. And finally, I had talked to my parents, and they were like, here's some tips. And one of them was, you cannot be in the same room studying also 5 hours in a row.
That's what I had to learn. Yep.
You have to take brain breaks, because you could sit and do school and try to get it done, and your brain just loses it. And they're like, hello, I need a brain break. And I think that's where people need to know you have to have those. And so finally, I would go on campus and I would start studying in different locations and different sceneries. And it actually helped. And my grades actually went up, and I got a 4.0. And I'll never forget, this guy told me, I was just like stressing out this one night freshman year. And he was like, if you constantly are studying and cramming it in, you will not remember the next day. And you did yourself actually a disadvantage right there. And so you have to take brain breaks and study at the right time. And so every person that decides to shove it in last minute, it actually is better to just not even study, as bad as that sounds, because you have to take those breaks in between. And so speaking of breaks, there's also a balance between, a lot of people are big fans of TikTok. Myself, my gosh, I've spent hours on TikTok. There has to be a brain break, but you have to know when you jump back into the school mode. And so, Penny, what would you say today if you were trying to understand the balance between brain breaks and school mode, and how that might look, and what that does look for you? What does it look like in your daily life?
So in the beginning of when I first started last semester, I didn't know how to study. In all honesty, I thought I could just cram for tests, and I always got good grades. So I was like, I guess I can keep doing that. And then when I got here, you can't cram for stuff. You actually have to study. What I would do was I would start studying once my class was done at like 5, and study literally all night until like 5 a.m. And then my friend, she sat me down and talked to me, and she was like, that is not healthy. She's like, after 12, put the book away. Stop looking at it. And then I was like, but I need to keep studying. And she's like, you haven't learned it after, all these hours of studying, you don't know it. And so what she taught me, and what I learned, is that your brain starts to retain information after it's seen, I think, 7 times. So I have to look at something 7 times, and my chances of remembering it are a lot better than me sitting down looking at a book for hours, because I'm not really learning anything, because I haven't looked over what I read. I'm just reading on and on. And so once I started doing that, I would, even if I was, brushing my teeth in the morning, I would have my notes in front of me and read that topic. And then if I'm, walking outside, I would read it, and I would start making it a habit to re-look at the same information at least 7 times. And my grades started getting a lot better since I started doing that.
Yeah. And I didn't even, honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't think about it, but studying is actually learning that skill and coming in and seeing what works for you and what doesn't work for you.
And also, what I also started doing was setting a timer, because if I do not allow myself to take a break, I won't take a break. Because that's just how I am. So I would just sit there and study, and I'm like, oh wait, I've been here for 4 hours. So I would start taking, an hour. I would set a timer for 1 hour to just go to sleep, and then when I would wake up, I would start doing it again, and then I would just take hours in between just to sleep, to eat, to do anything else other than look at paper.
Yeah, and it's okay to nap. I feel like a lot of people like don't want to nap. They might get tired, but I've actually seen myself nap and do better because I actually got some sleep.
Yes.
And even if I went to bed at like 2 a.m. earlier, I still am able to take that nap later and I actually perform better, especially if you have a test or something. Taking that a couple hours before would help you, just be able to take a break. And so for me, what I do is in between on my brain breaks, it's a little hard to get on TikTok, not gonna lie. That becomes like a 2-hour thing, maybe a little more than that. I do just, my social media, and I'm going through my emails and my DMs and negotiating with brands and getting content ready to go. And, you have to find what makes you happy. So your brain break for me also is going on a walk. I know it sounds stupid, but it's actually a way to get fresh air outside and you can just breathe and relax, and you could go exercise and just do something for 30 minutes to an hour and take a break and then come back and do school. Because you will drive yourself up a wall if you are looking at a screen for 5 hours. And one thing I will say that's really, really helped me, specifically this year, is blue light glasses. And I will make sure to link those for you guys because they actually make you not have headaches. You can be on a screen longer. And I wish I had them with me, but I don't. And they help a lot. And so if you guys just want to be able to stay on a screen a little bit longer before your brain break, definitely check those out. But I think brain breaks are more important than we give credit to them.
Yes.
And so something that's going to be hard to talk about is procrastinating.
I'm the queen of that one.
What would you say to someone that constantly does it and might actually be stuck in a habit of it?
Okay. I used to be the queen of procrastination. Like when I first, did my classes, like my freshman year or whatever, because I was so used to, studying last minute for tests, doing everything last minute and still making good grades. And so it became a habit. And then when I got into this nursing stuff and I'm like, bro, I can't just study the day before a test. What? Like it was really like a big shock for me. And so for anybody
wake-up call
that is like that, you have to train yourself to, start doing stuff a little bit earlier. I know you're getting good grades and you seem like it's fine, but there will be a point when you might have a professor that, won't like your work that you turned in. You thought it was good because you did it last minute and you bullcrapped your work and you still got a good grade. That might be for one teacher's class, but for another teacher, they're not going to put up with that. And that's what I definitely discovered when I got here. You can't do that. And so for anybody that's procrastinator, you have to, train yourself to get out of that, maybe start. I'm not a planner person. I hate planners, but I am. Kaylee's a planner person, but I put little alarms in my phone because I'm always on my phone. So I'll have like, this project is due at this time. And I'll like set those little reminders for me so I can visually see it. And then I'm like, okay, let me get started on it. Compared to, just waiting the day before, a few hours before to get something done.
Yeah, I even started I started something new. Obviously, it's not new, but it is to me, Google Calendar. And that has helped so much. And I even got a reminder earlier today about something. Even just those little things help you. And like, I'm huge into sticky notes, and they will be all over the place. They were in my apartment, and it worked, and it, made it where I didn't forget stuff. And so just those little reminders of knowing what to do. Another really cool thing out of this brain break, back to that, is when you take me time for yourself and you just do what you want. Penny, how do you stay true to you and you don't kind of fall out of who you are, and you still know, okay, time management, it pulls every emotion out of you, and it can stress you out.
Mhm.
So what do you do to take time for yourself, and you're just staying true to you, and you're just not, off doing a whole different path?
And so for me, what I do, I'm obsessed with pizza. I'm literally
Yes.
obsessed. So there's this
California
one,
pizza.
yes. So there's one restaurant I go to all the time, and I'm literally friends with the manager, and I know everybody there. And so they, expect to see me come there at a certain time. And so when I'm not there, they start to worry about me. And so that's how I started, becoming in a routine of taking that mind break. I'm like, oh, they're looking forward to seeing me today. Let me leave and go get some pizza. And so I would
Yeah.
literally just go in there, get my pizza, and sit down and talk to whoever was in there about my day. And they would be like, you got this. And I'm like, yeah, I only got 30 minutes left, so I got to go drive back or whatever. So I would just go sit in there for an hour, just talking and eating my pizza. And that's what made me happy. And some
Yeah.
people, would like to work out. Some people like to take baths. I like to eat pizza. That's what, soothes me.
Yeah, yeah. And like for me, it's not the best habit, but I'm obsessed with McDonald's. So you might catch me there once a week, twice a week. My roommates could probably tell you different. But that was like something, happy that I got to like have for myself. And I think being able to have time management is good, but being able to also balance off everything that comes with that. And so that could be hobbies, if you play, on a sports team at your school, if you're in a relationship, if you have a really hard class, if you go to church, all that great stuff, it really does tie into how time management works. And so I think that people need to know that time management is a struggle. And so there's a class that tech actually offers that. My gosh, my dad was like, you're going to take it. And so I ended up taking it, and it was called Raider Ready. And it was all about how to just balance out being a college student, time management, and how just important that is as specifically a college student. And that might look different than just actually in life. And what's super cool is if you can get time management down now, you will be set. It will be such a habit. And when you get into your work field, and when you get into like, with your marriages and families, that's where that time management is huge, and it plays into getting that down now at this age. And so, Penny, we have a little time left, but do you just kind of want to share like your favorite story in college, and something that just Texas Tech will forever just hold a special piece in your heart when you graduate?
Tech it is just an amazing school. Like I feel that, we have the little sayings about tech students, like can't get your grades up, get your guns up. And that's completely false, because, I work really hard. Kailee works really, really hard with her 4.0. Like, tech is a great school. And I suggest this school to anybody that wants to go somewhere where they just feel at home. Like every time I leave Lubbock, I get emotional. I never get that way with anywhere. I just feel so at home with, it's just like a family community. There's so many nice people, and it's a lot easier to fit in. Like, you might have not been, super popular in high school, but then you can go to college and meet people that have a lot of stuff in common with you, and you start to feel like you're a part of something for once. And that's what tech can do for a lot of people. And so I love tech. I love Texas Tech.
Yeah.
About this
That's awesome. And I know like it's hard being a college kid, and just the peer pressure. And I'm kind of going into a little different part at the end of this episode. What would you say to someone that's really being peer pressured, whether that could be alcohol, drugs, sex? What could you say to someone that would maybe help them be able to overcome what they're going through? And I know so many feel alone, and it's great to help someone and be able to let them know that you're going to get through it. And peer pressure is tough, and it's only getting worse. And especially in college, you feel alone sometimes. So what would be a piece of advice that we could just let the audience know and leave them with today?
I would say, don't give up, because the drugs and the alcohol, that's just a temporary fix for your problems. You need to find a really good friend that won't judge you, that you can just sit down with and just talk about your feelings with. Like, a lot of people come to me, with questions and stuff, because I'm a pretty straight up person. I tell it how it is, because I would rather tell you the truth than for someone to be hurt. And so if you're going through something like that, find a friend like that will tell you what you need to hear, because some people don't want to hurt your feelings, so they'll just tell you what you want, what you want to hear. Like, you may be on the verge of being an alcoholic, and they just keep encouraging you to go out and drink. That's not a good friend. And so if you have somebody like that, try to find someone that's, might be, more of like, I guess, a homebody that stays in more to talk to about trying to get out of that, or even going to counseling, or there's even some YouTube videos that, where people might talk about their issues, and you can just look up that and find somebody to relate with.
And I think it goes back to almost like balancing it all out and just finding out what works for you, because Penny and I are very similar in like values and beliefs, but we have different systems that work for us. And obviously our degrees are different, and they're just as important to me and to her. And you have to know that time management is going to be the key to having a successful 4 years, or if you even decide to go longer, or maybe even just 2. But just staying true to you and knowing what works for you is how you're going to be successful, and you're going to make it through, and you're not going to give up. So remember to stay motivated, and to remember, I think someone said this quote, I think it was, you have to be yourself because everyone else is already taken. And I was like, boom, that's the key. That's the key for a college student. So, but Penny, thank you so much. I feel like we could just talk for hours, and it's just such a blessing to have you on the show and to be my guest and to just share with the audience everything you've learned. And you had like awesome piece of advice. It was, such a wake up call, and it was really just a little warm hug at the same time. And so just thank you again so much, Penny. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. And I hope that, my advice could help somebody out there. And if not, that's okay. But
it will for sure.
My story and what I go through.
I love that. We're all unique, and we all have such cool things to tell people. And that's just about growing up and having a cool story. So, but thank you. I appreciate it
so much.
Of course. And so I wanted to just say thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in wherever you are. I just appreciate you to the moon and back. And I think just time management is a big one, and it can be a real struggle, and you can have your high moments and you can have your low moments. So if you learn to just balance it all out, you will just understand that you will get through it. And so I also wanted to say, I said in the morning I do a devotional. And so my personal favorite that I've been doing for years is Jesus Calling, and you can find it at Mardell's, on Amazon, all cool stores that, just have it. And so I just hope you guys have an amazing week, and just stay true to you. Like Penny said, even if your friends start shifting and they peer pressure you and they try to make you be someone you're not, nope. You need to stay true to you, and you need to know your worth and what you hold as who you are. But I'm just super excited, and I just hope you guys have the best week ever. And what's to come, like I said, a summer kickoff, and we'll be talking about really cool things going into the summer, and also how to budget money as a college student. But I love you guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.